We're just a few minutes away from the first update from End Night, and I'm honestly skeptical. For me, though I expect the first update to be small, I feel a lot is riding on End Night with this update to set the tone as for what's to come in the coming months of early access. So let's wait a few more minutes, and then we'll break down what's coming in the update. And here we go. This is actually a huge update. Like, thumbs up to End Night Games, but obviously a lot of these were already planned before early access, as they probably wanted this out as soon as possible. But it's fantastic to see the team working on both new stuff for us and fixing the issues that we've found throughout. Straight off the bat, they've added binoculars, but more importantly, the hand glider, which I know a lot of people have wanted late game for travel. They've also added the defensive wall gate, something which arguably should have come from the get-go, but presumably because of bugs wasn't. We also have a new mid-game boss, but I'll have to check that out later, as well as adding a new suit for Virginia in the world. And more importantly, we can now lock doors by adding a stick to the interior. And speaking of new buildables, we also have a one-sided apex, which fills in the space between a leaning beam and support beam. These are great additions, as it's been frustrating not to be able to fill them in. Now, there's also another thing with blueprinted furniture. These can now be grabbed and placed elsewhere, or should you wish, you can throw them to dismantle them. And that will also return all of the resources for building that. They've also added more story elements, but to be honest, I'd rather they held back on the story for full release so that we can really enjoy the full playthrough without any spoilers. Now, we've got new headshot death animations as a variation for cannibals, and they'll also be more ruthless, with normal cannibals being able to attack jumping from trees, and they'll also have new watchtowers in their camps. Another thing that we'll talk about later is some changes to their difficulty as well. Now, the next addition is small birds will now land and gain fullness when eating. I presume this means that they won't land repeatedly to eat, but I could be mistaken there. We've also got fish traps that are working. These should catch fish every 5 to 10 minutes if they're placed in water and it's not winter, so do be aware they won't catch fish in winter. When it comes to projectiles, we can now remove or hide the reticle and trajectory for those who are hardened veterans among us. I'd still quite like to see a crosshair myself. By the way, if you do like these updates, please do hit the thumbs up and subscribe for more content. We're pushing a lot of Sons of the Forest content out currently, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you. Some other changes that we've received are an addition to the UI. When you've got an article open, a piece of paper, you can now zoom, well, you could zoom in on it before, but now it tells you what to press. And in multiplayer, you can also remove the names of players if you wish. They've also done a series of balances to the game as well. So there's a sleeper cooldown, so no hibernating through winter. And even if you do sleep, there is a chance that your sleep will be interrupted by enemies that are nearby. But I don't think that's changed too much, as we had that already. Also, the rest drain from hunger and dehydration has been set to 0. Muddy cannibals will now get less angry, so you can actually stay away from them and not fear them swiping at you out of nowhere when you're running through the forest. And fires will now burn quicker, so expect the need for firewood now. Berries should also fill us up a lot quicker, which means we won't have to eat 100 berries just to fill our food bar. And energy drinks have had a nerf, and it's quite a considerable one, with half the hydration being given, and they're also going to be providing less energy as well. Along with that, herbs and mushrooms have also had their fullness tweaks and hydration tweaked as well. Now, to make life easier, hard enemies now have health that has been reduced to 1.25 times the health of a normal one. I'm not sure what it was set to before. I think it might have been 1.5 times. But they have also, on the flip side of that, increased armor health to cannibals on hard to 1.5 times multiplier. So they are still going to be rather difficult for the more armored ones. Calvin's fish catching prowess has also taken a hit, with him stopping fishing after a while. Late game caves will now have less enemies in them, and the melee events and ranges of these melee events have been changed for better AI responsiveness. Now, I don't know if this is better for us or like, I don't know if it's a buff or a nerf, because previously the AI were very quick at dodging most of my melee attacks. So it might be that they've slowed it down so that we can actually hit them rather than them dodging all the time. Or it could be worse, I guess. A big nerf also to the game is the shotgun, which will now do half the amount of damage, and multiplayer will become more difficult with creepies receiving more health based on players active, making the shotgun less and less viable, especially with lower amounts of ammunition. Now, we've also seen a huge range of fixes and improvements, including Kelvin should now not cut down trees that players are building in. At last, my treehouse is safe. Sticks have also stopped working on doors, but I wonder if the logs still work. As you can see, there is an absolute heap of fixes and improvements as well. Things like the way the animation for the female cannibal. They've also set up the player effigy struggle idle for multiplayer. They've fixed some LODs that were happening. There's so much that we could talk about. From things to do with the animals and their pathing, various errors that were coming up, LODs. They've really done a number on the game and really added a lot for us to check out, and also fixed a lot of the bugs that were apparent from day one, which I know a lot of people were struggling with. By the way, if you are enjoying the music that we're currently playing in the video at the moment, do make sure to check out my Spotify playlist. It's music that I've produced, and it's free for all to use. If you're a content creator, it's copyright free. You can use it in your videos and your streams as well without any worry. Do enjoy it. The link's below in the description. But if you do want a full list, do check out their Steam page. There is all the patch notes there. We're also going to have to leave it there, guys, because I've got a lot more content to work on today. But do let me know what you think they'll release in the next update. And are you happy with these changes? Are you happy with what they've done for the early access first update? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure I'll be talking about that soon. But until next time, special thanks does go to all of our amazing supporters, most notably our Solarclipse patrons, James Irwin, Firefless, and Trevor, as well as our Lunars, the Calamity, Ben, Star, Shoku, the MN Wolf, and That Dude AW, as well as our Blood Moon of the Day, which today is Scooter. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.